Unsung Murder Ballads discusses topics of a graphic nature and in graphic detail and may not be suitable for children under the age of 13. Listener discretion is advised. All right, everybody, welcome back to Unsung Murder Ballads. This is our Halloween special week. We are going to do 7 days of the 7 deadly sins. So,
yeah.
Hell yeah. So, I guess we should introduce ourselves again. I am Janice Dead.
I'm Jameson Dead.
And I'm Joyce Dead.
So, each night, culminating on Halloween, we're going to do a different murder based on a different deadly sin. So, every murder that's involved in our episodes will have something to do with a particular sin, and we're going to rotate who's presenting each one. So that should be a lot of fun and really cool. So tonight I'm going to be covering envy.
Ooh, okay. This should be good.
That's a pretty fun sin.
I think so.
Little bit of jealousy, a little bit of spice.
Yeah, a little bit of what? How do they say it in the 10 Commandments? Coveting. A little bit of coveting.
Oh, thou shalt not covet.
Yes. So this one's even worse. It's written twice in there.
Dang.
So there is a rock band called the Pretty Reckless, whose singer, for those who don't know, is Taylor Momsen, who played Cindy Lou Who in the Jim Carrey version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
She is quite impressive.
We love.
Yes, I absolutely love this band, and we all love Taylor Momsen. Joyous and I have seen the Pretty Reckless twice now together, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
Oh my God, they're so good.
They are so good.
The little side note here, the first time Joyous and I saw them, their bus had caught fire traveling from Baltimore to Boston, and they were really, really late. Do you remember that?
It was brutal.
Yeah, we were outside talking because Taylor Momsen is sort of she's sort of like this role model for a lot of young girls that are very kind of emo, and so we were outside with girls that were much, much younger than even Joyous was. And so it was just kind of awkward for hours.
Yeah, we were. Do I remember it being cold too? I think it was.
I think it was cold, yeah. And so when they finally arrived, they played super late. We had bought meet and greet passes, so we did get to meet them, but it was very quick. We got a photo and we kind of went our way. But they were so good. They still did the show. They still did the meet and greet. So it's an amazing band. So for anyone who doesn't know, go check out the Pretty Reckless. They're amazing. But they do have a song titled "Why'd You Bring a Shotgun to the Party?" which could have been written about the case we're discussing today.
Oh, shotgun party.
There is
envy.
There is a particular line that seems to fit perfectly. And it goes, quote, "Why'd you bring a shotgun to the party? Everybody's got one. There's nothing new about it. You want to get the girl, you should have come without it." Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, just to reiterate, tonight's special Halloween episode is the deadly sin of envy. And we are going to be talking about the killing spree of Eliot Rodgers, a.k.a. the Virgin Killer.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so Eliot Rodgers, because I'm going to say Roger, I'm going to refer to him as his last name, which is how I do on most episodes. But because it sounds like a first name, I'm not being casual with this person. This is his last name.
Okay, cool.
So Roger was born in London, England on July 24th, 1991. And he and his parents moved to the United States when he was 5. He was raised in Los Angeles. His father was a British filmmaker, Peter Rodgers, and his paternal grandfather was a photojournalist named George Rodgers. So his family has a history in the entertainment industry.
All right.
His mother is a Malaysian Chinese nurse who served as a first aid practitioner and research assistant on several major film productions.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, like I said, they're in the entertainment industry. So you can kind of see where his mind might be going for his future. He had a younger sister that was born before his parents divorced. And after the divorce, his father Peter remarried, and he and his second wife, Suma, a Moroccan actress with whom Eliot had a strained relationship, they would have a son together, and this would be Eliot Rodgers' half-brother. Roger attended Crespi Carmelite High School, an all-boys Catholic school, in Encino, Los Angeles, and then he would go on to Taft High School in Woodland Hills, which he attended for only a few weeks due to severe bullying.
Wow,
Bad
that must have been
start.
really intense.
Yeah, it must have been really rough.
I can't imagine like a couple weeks and you're out. Like it had to have been really bad.
Yeah.
In the ninth grade, Roger was increasingly bullied, and he wrote later that he would go off and cry all by himself at school every day.
That's
That's
rough.
awful.
At this time, he developed an addiction with playing multiplayer online game World of Warcraft, which dominated most of his life throughout his teenage years and briefly into his 20s.
That makes sense. It's his escape.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems to track.
At Crespi Carmelite High, he was bullied, and in one incident, his head was taped to the desk because he fell asleep. They taped his head to the desk.
Oh,
What the
that's
fuck is
just
wrong with
cruel.
people?
I can't answer that. Like we try to we delve into that every week, and people are
Yeah.
just fucked.
People are just fucked.
According to Roger, the one friend he had who truly understood him one day just said he didn't want to be friends anymore and didn't offer any explanation. Now, this is likely because this friend knew the consequences of supporting him while he's being bullied.
Right. Ugh, that's so
Oh,
sad.
that's a really shitty thing to do.
You know what though? You got to remember what the dynamic is like in high school.
Yeah, no, yeah.
He last attended Independence Continuation High School in Lake Balboa, where he graduated in 2009. Roger then briefly enrolled in Los Angeles Pierce College and Moore Park College before ultimately transferring to Santa Barbara City College in 2011. Thereafter, he would reside in Isla Vista. According to his family's attorney and a family friend, Roger had seen multiple therapists since he was 8 years old, but the attorney said that he had never been formally diagnosed with any mental illness.
Interesting. That's early to be in therapy and a long time to be in therapy to never get a diagnosis.
Which,
but then again, most therapists can't diagnose you. So
that's true too. But at the same time, I wonder how much of this was just him being. I can't speculate, and I won't speculate because I don't know what it's like to be bullied. Because realistically, I was the bully. I was that asshole. I didn't tape someone's head to a desk, but
right.
I pranked people because I thought it was funny, and then later they were like, "Yeah, you were the bully." In 2007, however, he was diagnosed with pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified, which is on the autism spectrum. Roger had a YouTube account and a blog entitled Eliot Rodgers Official Blog, through which he expressed his loneliness and his rejection. So he does have an outlet, but I don't think it was necessarily the healthiest way to express it.
No, I don't think so.
He wrote that he had been prescribed risperidone, but refused to take it, stating, quote, "After researching this medication, I found that it was the absolute wrong thing for me to take." Can I ask a question? Why do people think they and a Google search know better than doctors?
I would love to know the answer to that question. It has been a big question from the last few years. I don't know.
I don't either. Like, don't get me wrong. I do my research, but if a doctor says, "Hey, this is going to help you," I put a lot more weight into that than what Google tells me.
Exactly.
Some people just think that they're better than others and think that they're above people.
That they know better?
Yeah,
Some people are
apparently.
just narcissists.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to explain it. So after turning 18, Roger began rejecting mental health care and became increasingly isolated. He said that he was unable to make friends, although acquaintances said that he rebuffed their attempts to be friendly. Now, I can personally see a victim of severe bullying not being willing to trust any new people coming into his life. So I kind of see the pushback a little, and it's unfortunate that these people didn't truly understand what he was going through and couldn't have tried harder to prove themselves to him.
Right.
But at the same time, how much can you do for someone? How much should you do? So family friend Dale Launer said that he counseled Roger on approaching women, but Roger did not follow his advice. Launer also commented that when he met Roger at 8 or 9, quote, I could see then that there was something wrong with him. Looking back now, he strikes me as someone who was broken from the moment of conception, unquote.
Oh, geez, those are some
That's a
strong
really
words.
dark quote. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's very fucked up. Roger claimed in his manifesto that in 2011, he threw coffee on a couple he was jealous of.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
He claimed in another incident, he splashed coffee on two girls for not smiling at him.
Okay, that's
Oh,
just twisted.
yeah, that's not good.
In 2012, Roger used a super soaker filled with orange juice to spray a group of people playing kickball at a park. That's kind of funny. I'm not gonna
That's
lie. Because it's orange juice, it's funny. That's all.
All right, yeah.
It's like I can almost see lemon juice because it would have discolored their clothes. That would have been a little funnier. But anyway, that's the bully in me coming out. Referring to an incident in July of 2013, Roger wrote that after being mocked at a party, he tried but failed to shove some girls over a 10-foot ledge. But instead, other boys pushed him over and his ankle was injured. Karma at its finest, in my opinion.
Yeah, most definitely.
yeah.
Now, Eliot made an interesting mistake and went back for his sunglasses that had fallen off his head, and he was mocked again and beaten.
Jesus.
Now, in defense of the bullies here, if someone tried to push my friends off a ledge that was 10 feet in the air, and I intervened and pushed him over the ledge, and then he had the fucking balls to come back, I don't think I would have been very friendly either.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, I mean, that because you don't know what he's coming back to do.
Right. You should probably leave the sunglasses there.
That was my take on it. Like he shouldn't have gone back, but again, he's a teenager. He's not really in his right mind, you know, when he's angry. So a neighbor saw Roger come home crying after that and vowing to kill the men involved and then himself.
Yikes.
He wrote in his manifesto that incident was the final trigger for him planning his attack.
Fucking manifesto. Jesus.
Yeah, just wait. So in January of 2014, Roger accused Chen Wan Hong, one of his roommates, of stealing some candles and pressed charges on him.
The fuck?
Yeah,
Holy crud.
over fucking candles.
That's weird fucking behavior.
So Hong pled guilty to the petty theft charge and paid him back, I'm assuming.
Like, yeah, like what?
Candles? Wow. So on April 30th, Roger's parents contacted police after becoming alarmed by his behavior and his YouTube videos. Sheriff's deputies who visited Roger determined that he did not meet the criteria for an involuntary mental health commitment. And Roger told him that he just had a misunderstanding with his parents.
Huh.
Roger emailed his 107,000 word manifesto, which he titled My Twisted World, The Story of Eliot Rodgers, to 34 people, including his parents and other family members, former teachers, childhood friends, and his therapist.
Oh, Jesus.
In it, he said he originally sought to carry out an attack on Halloween of 2013, but reconsidered because he thought there would be too many police present. In his last YouTube video, Eliot Rodgers, which he titled Eliot Rodgers Retribution, Roger complained of being rejected by women and envying sexually active men, and then described his planned attack and the motives behind it. In the video, he says, "Tomorrow is the day of retribution, the day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you. For the last 8 years of my life, ever since I hit puberty, I've been forced to endure an existence of loneliness, rejection, and unfulfilled desires, all because girls have never been attracted to me."
Wow.
Wow, this is really an
the-
OG incel, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say, boo fucking who?
Yeah, wah, wah, wah. No one
Right?
likes you because you're an asshole. Maybe don't be an asshole. I hate this shit.
Well, my take on it is a little different, right? Maybe try going after a different girl that doesn't fall into the contemporary standards of beauty. Maybe
Also that.
I completely agree.
right.
He's
Maybe,
crying foul because everything that he wants is not coming up for him.
right. I mean,
Try something different. Try
right.
there are thousands and thousands and thousands of possibilities.
Exactly. And I'm just going to say this, like when I was in high school, I was a pretty boy, right? I had my eyes were very blue. I had long blonde hair. There were certain girls
Really?
who wouldn't
Wow.
look at me. They're like the cheerleaders, those type, they would never have dated me. And you know what I did? I dated other girls. It's
Yup.
okay that someone doesn't want to be with you.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. But clearly he thinks that anyone he wants should reciprocate. And that's his problem.
Such a huge thing with, like incel culture. Like they only want the most conventionally attractive person possible. And it's a crime to them that not all women are sexually available when there
Right.
are probably people who would possibly be available to them if they were even reasonable about their expectations. And it's just baffling. I fucking hate
Exactly.
incels.
Well, yeah, you hit the nail on the head with this one, but I'm gonna wait a little bit until the time is right to tell you
Well,
exactly.
all right.
Yeah. But I am gonna say one last thing, and I don't like to use like antiquated means of classifying women, but this is gonna sum up what this guy should have fucking done. If the tens don't want you, maybe date a seven. Because if
It's just logical, but it applies to, all genders.
Yeah, exactly. I actually had a theory years ago when I was in college that attraction was like a spiral staircase. Okay. Doesn't matter which step you're on, but typically you're only attracted to people who are more attractive than you are. Right. Now, the really lucky people are on the same level and they think the other person is more attractive than they are. But initially, especially at a young age, like high school, college, you're looking up at the person you want and you're not looking back down to see the person who may be a genuinely good person that wants to be with you because you're too busy and focused on the other person. And that was my theory for many, many years. And I don't think it applies to adults so much. Like once you're over 25, you not that you're making concessions, but you're looking around. You're not
Right.
so concerned about the physical attractiveness. You're not so concerned about how this person looks with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
you're not so I feel like as I grew older, it's so much less of like being drowned in hormones and looking for the hottest person I've ever seen. Like it really matters so much less to me as an adult.
right, as well it should.
The superficial doesn't matter because those looks are going to fade. And
Right.
if you're with someone who's just about the looks and they're an awful person, you're stuck with somebody that's not going to be good.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you look down to the people that, are good people but not tens, they're going to give you security. They're going to give you things that the people who are tens are never going to give you.
Right. However, I am going to say, and this advice is going out to the other side of that. There was a period in my life before I met my wife where I did date someone that I wasn't really attracted to, but this person was just a genuinely good person. She tried way too hard, and that pushed me away. It was just too much. And
Interesting.
and it was really awful because I suddenly felt way too smothered and it ruined the entire thing. And so, like, there is a balance there. And for someone who does get that opportunity to date someone that they're really into, you got to kind of keep that. I mean, it's great to be excited and express it, but at the same time, don't overdo it because you can push someone away. And that, I mean, I still look back and I feel bad for this person because she really did try very hard, but it was just too much for me. So, anyway,
Anyway.
uh, back to Roger and his ridiculous post.
Yes.
So he continues, girls gave their affection and sex and love to other men, but never to me. I'm 22 years old and I'm still a virgin. I've
Boo-hoo.
never I've never even kissed a girl.
Boo-hoo.
I've been through college for 2.5 years, more than that actually, and I'm still a virgin.
Wah, wah, wah.
Exactly. It's been very torturous. College is the time when everyone experiences those things such as sex and fun and pleasure. Within those years, I've had to rot in loneliness. It's not fair. You girls have never been attracted to me. I don't
Yes,
know.
the girls. Speaking as a woman, we are a hive mind, and we are not attracted to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you behave this way, of course they're not attracted to you.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
You hate women, of course they don't like you.
Yeah, and you're entitled. Listen to this guy.
I fucking hate it.
He continues, I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me, but I will punish you all for it. It's an injustice, a crime, because dot dot dot. I don't know what you don't see in me. I'm the perfect guy, and yet you throw yourselves at these obnoxious men instead of me, the supreme gentleman.
Oh, wow. How is it
Yeah.
up on that cloud? Holy crud.
Well, the sad part is he has such a high opinion of himself, yet he has such a low opinion of himself. Like, it's so fucked up.
Yeah, it's weird delusion, and the unfortunate thing is that there are lots of online communities where people fall into and repeat these beliefs to each other. It's like
Yep.
so much that they think they make sense.
And that's one of the problems with the internet, I think. But
Oh yeah.
that Pandora's box has been opened.
Oh, yeah.
So he wrote in My Twisted World, his little manifesto, that being of mixed race made him different from normal, fully white kids. Well, yeah.
The racism is coming from inside the house.
Yes, it is. That was really funny. On one online forum, he said that he opposed interracial dating and made several racist posts regarding African American, South Asian, and East Asian people, stating that seeing men of these ethnic groups socializing with white women, quote, makes you want to quit life, unquote.
Disgusting. That's fucking vile.
Yeah, so I look at it like this. If you're at the bottom of the barrel, if you have no social like placement, like if you're not, part of like the A crowd, you need people like him need someone to hate.
Yeah.
Need a way to make himself feel better about himself. And I think using race for that is like low-hanging fruit. It's an easy thing to grab at and say, well, I'm better than this. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, race relations in this country are so poor that it's an easy one to cling to. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Yeah.
So that's what I think this guy's problem is. But he continued to write, full Asian men are disgustingly ugly and white girls would never go for you. You're so butthurt that you were born as an Asian piece of shit, so you lash out by linking these fake pictures. I'm assuming he's referring to a dating site or app or
Yeah,
something.
like what? This is fucked.
He says, you even admit that you wish you were half white.
Who the fuck is he talking to?
Asian people, apparently.
I hate this man. Fucking die.
He says, you'll never be half white and you'll never fulfill your dream of marrying a white woman. I suggest you jump off a bridge.
What the fuck?
This piece of shit shows so much entitlement that he doesn't even realize that perhaps these are kindred spirits out there.
Right.
Instead, he continues to just alienate himself. Literally, and I don't really think that most Asian people are sitting there hating themselves trying to date white women. You know what I mean?
Nope, not a thing.
But if there is one person out there that is struggling with that, that's someone he should have been friends with.
Right. And you know what? This is really reminding me. There's a quote from Lyndon B. Johnson sort of about this, which was, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you.
That's brilliant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That's
fits. Very good.
So
it's a memorable one.
Yeah, that was amazing, actually. In his manifesto, Roger made a racist comment regarding another boy, outlining some of his plans. Quote, how could an inferior, ugly black boy be able to get a white girl and not me?
Oh, God.
He continues, I am beautiful and I am half white myself. I am descended from British aristocracy. He is descended from slaves.
What the fuck deep white supremacy is this?
Fucking scumbag. he's not even
Literally the worst of the worst.
he can't even really sit there with this whole white supremacy because he's half Asian himself. He even says it, but he doesn't reflect on that half. He says, I'm half white, using that to try to elevate himself over other races. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
So on the day before his day of retribution, he continues, I will start the first phase of my vengeance, silently killing as many people as I can around Isla Vista by luring them into my apartment through some form of trickery.
Okay.
Fuck?
A war on women was the second phase of his plan. The second phase will take place on the day of retribution itself, just before the climactic massacre, he says. My war on women. I will attack every girl who represents everything I hate in the female gender. Quote, the hottest sorority at UCBSB, the University of California, Santa Barbara.
What the fuck?
This is where I believe he proves my point that he doesn't want to just date any woman, that he has to have, they have to fit that standard of being very attractive, because typically that's your sorority house. And this is what bothers me most. And you said it already, that the incel community feel entitled to beautiful young women as if they have no option to say no.
Yep.
So Rodgers stated in his manifesto that in his ideal world, he would, and are you ready for this shit?
Oh, God.
He would quarantine all women in concentration camps.
What?
Jesus, he's really running the full gamut.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
At these camps, a vast majority of the female population will be deliberately starved to death.
What?
That would be an efficient and fitting way to kill them all off. I would have an enormous tower built just for myself and gleefully watch them all die.
What kind of delusional bullshit is this guy thinking?
He's out of his head.
Literally.
Holy crud.
He also dreamed of a pure world where the man's mind can develop to greater heights than ever before. Future generations would live their lives free of having to worry about the barbarity of sex and women, which will enable them to expand their intelligence and advance the human race to a state of perfect civilization.
No.
He is like he's got like every racism in the book. He's got wanting to have a concentration camp. This man,
yeah, sexism,
holy shit,
racism. He
like
basically
he wants a fucking Holocaust.
Yeah, he's checking all the boxes. Yeah.
Ooh.
He also said that he planned to kill his half brother and stepmother, but he was not mentally prepared to kill his father.
Well, you know, his father is a man, so clearly he has a favorite.
In September of 2012, Roger visited a shooting range to practice firing handguns. In November, he purchased his first handgun, a Glock 34 pistol in Goleta, California, choosing it as, quote, an efficient and highly accurate weapon, unquote.
See, now this is where the mental background checks of purchasing a gun have failed miserably.
He has no diagnosis.
I know, but no. But I realize that. But if anybody had any kind of clue about what the hell was going through his mind,
yeah, that's true. If they were watching his YouTube videos, yeah, they'd probably not let him buy a gun. That's what they should do.
Right, which, you know, should be much more of a thing.
In early 2013, Roger bought 2 additional handguns, both Sig Sauer P226 pistols, writing that they were, quote, of a much higher quality than the Glock and a lot more efficient, end quote.
This is still in his manifesto?
Yes. This is all like backstory, but like he put all this in his manifesto right before starting his crime spree. He purchased these weapons legally in Oxnard and Burbank, California. So he's getting all these without any red flags showing up anywhere.
Right, which, you know, we've probably talked about guns before and opinions on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all in agreement on what needs to be done, but unfortunately, unless we have a huge change in this nation, I just don't see it really changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Roger claimed he had saved up $6,000 in order to purchase more weapons and supplies for his attacks. Gun law experts in California said that there was nothing in Roger's known history that prevented him from making these legal firearm purchases.
Yikes.
In regards to the manifesto, Roger's father, Peter, was aware that he had been writing prior to the shooting while being unaware of the subject matter. They had taken a hike together prior to the shooting, and Peter, his father, asked, "Can I please read it? Can you just send it to me?" And Roger replied, "Oh, no, no, no. I'll send it to you soon enough."
That's when
Oh.
you demand to see it.
Yeah, that's some creepy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like if he didn't know what it was and assumed it was just like a screenplay or something, like he'd be like, okay, whatever, I'll see it soon. Like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, like a novel or something. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But
I'm thinking LA. I'm like, it's gotta be a screenplay.
well, it's better than I actually I didn't even make the connection there. That's funny. Roger's mother told authorities that Eliot told her his last day of school was going to be May 23rd of 2014 and that there were tests he needed to take. Roger told his mother he would call her when he was finished with his test, but when she tried to call him, he didn't answer. She also sent him
Hmm.
texts, but he didn't respond to those either. Roger began his attacks in his own apartment. First, he stabbed Wei Han Wong and Chen Hong. Eliot's last victim in the apartment was George Chen. Chen incurred a total of 94 stab wounds.
Holy
Whoa.
Yeah, 94.
Oh, this guy's on a fucking rampage.
Bloodstains later found in the building's hallway suggest that Roger had attacked one or more of the victims as they entered the apartment.
I mean, that makes like I'm trying to picture how you can start stabbing someone and you have two other roommates and they're not doing anything.
A bloody bath towel was and paper towels in the bathroom suggested that he did attempt to clean up the hallway. The men,
Interesting.
the men's positions suggested that each was killed separately as they entered. Two of the
They
vic-
walk in, they see blood everywhere, and then they die. I hate it.
Two of the victims were confirmed to be his roommates, according to the apartment lease, while police were investigating whether the third person was also a resident or just visiting the apartment that particular night. After the stabbings, Roger went out and had a coffee at a local coffee shop.
You know, because that's what you do after committing something heinous like that.
Yeah, nothing makes you want, some good calf, except,
Jesus.
aside from killing somebody. So around 8:30 p.m., he was seen working on his laptop in his car in a parking lot outside of his apartment building. This is when he uploaded his retribution video at 9:17 and sent his manifesto email at 9:18
So directly after starting killing, interesting.
after his coffee. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
After receiving a copy of the manifesto, Roger's therapist phoned his mother, who, finding the retribution video on his YouTube channel, tried to contact Roger's father. In separate cars, his parents left Los Angeles for Santa Barbara, calling Isla Vista police while en route. Now, I have driven to Santa Barbara. It's like 3.5 hours north of LA.
I was
Oh,
going to say
geez, so
that
they're
that's
so
not a
far
short
away.
trip.
Yeah, they're not close. So Roger drove to Alpha Phi sorority house on Embarcadero del Norte and Segovia Road near UCSB, where he knocked on the front door for a few minutes. Now, keep in mind, this is a sorority house and you're knocking on the front door unannounced. Yeah. No one answered the door.
Yup, makes
yeah.
sense.
So after no one answered, he then began shooting 3 women who just happened to be walking by.
Oh no.
Whoa.
2 women were killed and the third was injured. Catherine Brianne Cooper, 22, and Victoria Elizabeth Wise, 19, were both killed. Roger,
So sad.
Roger then began driving, firing into an unoccupied coffee shop on Pardal Road, then several times into a delicatessen. Christopher Ross Michaels Martinez, who was 20 years old, was struck 7 times and killed.
Oh, he's just killing everybody.
Roger drove south on the wrong side of the street, striking a pedestrian and firing at 2 people on the sidewalk, but missed both of them.
Oh God.
He shot a couple exiting a pizzeria and a female cyclist. He continued south and shot at and missed a woman. He then turned east and made a U-turn and started driving west. He then exchanged fire with a sheriff's deputy that was responding to the 911 call regarding his shootings. And he struck 2 pedestrians. He then turned north on Camino del Sur, and Rodgers shot and wounded 3 people on like a street down that way. I'm not going to try to say all these names. They're way too fucking crazy. He then struck a skateboarder and 2 cyclists with his car.
Jesus.
It's crazy.
It like is nonstop.
Yeah, he then turned east and struck another skateboarder with his car and shot 2 other men at an intersection.
Okay, where's the rest of the cavalry? Are they en route?
Yeah.
Or what's
They're
going on here?
slowly getting in behind him, basically. Roger then exchanged gunfire with 3 different sheriff's deputies and was shot, but in the hip.
No.
In the what? In the hip, you said?
In the hip,
hip.
yep. Pursued by police, he then turned south a second time onto El Embarcadero, then west on Del Playa. He struck a cyclist, and then he crashed on the north sidewalk just east of an intersection. At 9:35, police approached the car and found Roger dead inside the car of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his head. In the car were 3 pistols, knives, 6 empty 10-round magazines, and 548 rounds of unspent ammunition.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I don't even fucking want to know. Like, do you think he would use all of that?
I think he was hoping to. I think he was planning on using most of it at the sorority house.
Honestly, yeah, he was probably going to blow through that whole house with all of that. That's awful.
In his killing spree, he killed a total of 6 people. All of them were students at the University of California, Santa Barbara.
That's devastating to that.
There were also 14 people injured, 7 from gunshot wounds, and 7 by blunt force trauma sustained when he hit them with his vehicle. 11 of those injured were taken to the hospital. Students and community members gathered at a park in Isla Vista on the evening of the 24th for a candlelight memorial to remember the victims. 20,000 people attended a service at UCSB's Harder Stadium on May 27th. On the 23rd, May 23rd of 2015, the first anniversary of the attacks, hundreds of people gathered for a candlelight vigil commemorating the 6 slain victims. The mother of George Chen made a speech at that event. Following the attacks, some on Twitter used the hashtag #NotAllMen to express that not all men are misogynistic and not all men commit murder.
Wow, that's super helpful. Thanks.
You segue perfectly. Others criticized the use of this hashtag as it was considered to derail from discussion of the issue of violence against women.
Literally the only reason they're saying it is because we're talking about violence against women. God forbid we talk about violence against women.
Right. So in response to that, someone created the hashtag #YesAllWomen on May 24th to express the idea that all women experience misogyny and sexism.
Word.
The attacks renewed calls for gun control and improvements in the American healthcare system, with Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal saying, "A year and a half ago, it seems like we were on the verge of potentially legislation that would stop the madness and end the insanity that has killed too many young people, thousands, tens of thousands, since Sandy Hook." He continues, I really sincerely hope that this tragedy, this unimaginable, unspeakable tragedy, will provide impetus to bring back measures that would keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people who are severely troubled and deranged like this young man was. And unfortunately, we know that went nowhere.
Yeah, we know that nothing ever changes.
California Senator Dianne Feinstein blamed the National Rifle Association's stranglehold on gun laws for the attack and said, "Shame on us in Congress for failing to do something about it." I think these sentiments are great, but they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah,
it's
they're
all
just
just talk.
words.
Yeah, that's the problem here. Timothy F. Murphy, a representative from Pennsylvania and a clinical psychologist, said his bipartisan mental health overhaul would be a solution and urged Congress to pass it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath.
Richard Martinez, the father of victim Christopher Michaels Martinez, gave a speech in which he placed the blame on the attacks on, quote, craven, irresponsible politicians and the National Rifle Association. Martinez later urged the public to join him in demanding immediate action from members of Congress regarding gun control. He also expressed his sympathy towards Rodgers' parents, which is actually really big of him.
Yeah, honestly. It's really not their fault.
No, not at all. And from the sounds of it, I think had they paid a little more attention, maybe they could have seen it coming, but I don't think there was much they could have done.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know how much power anyone has, really.
Yeah, because I mean, this kid seemed hell bent on doing this.
He really did.
So Doris A. Fuller, the executive director of the Treatment Advocacy Center, said that California law permitted emergency psychiatric evaluations of potentially dangerous individual through provisions, but such actions were never enabled during the initial police investigation of Rodgers. She said, quote, once again, we are grieving over deaths and devastation caused by a young man who was sending up red flags for danger that failed to produce intervention in time to avert tragedy. In
yeah,
this case,
it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. Like, it's so fucked up because what could anyone have really done here?
Right, and it's like there's no saying that even if there like a psychiatric evaluation had been done, that it would have concluded anything. Like it's really, I mean, they can make a pretty good guess of whether someone's dangerous or not, but it's impossible to really know what people are capable of.
Right, and if he's smart enough, he can tell them what they want to hear and not be held.
Exactly.
In September of 2014, California state legislators passed a red flag law to enable judges to have guns seized from persons who are a danger to themselves and to others. I guess that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But in this case, you have to already own guns and have proven yourself to be a threat.
It's going to be one step forward, 2 steps back kind of thing.
Yeah. But this was signed into law by Governor Jerry Brown. So that's,
something, I guess. I'd love to see the statistics on what that actually did.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't look it up. I wish I had thought to. The attack also sparked discussions of broader issues of violence against women and misogyny. Roger frequented online forums such as PUA Hate and Forever Alone, where he and other men posted misogynistic statements, and he described himself as an incel. People who don't know what an incel is, because we've said it a couple times here, it's a member of an online subculture based around its members' perceived inability to find romantic or sexual partners. In my opinion, that's just stupid. But I'm not part of that subculture, so I don't really grasp what they're selling. So
they're selling self-pity. That's what they're selling.
That's exactly what they're selling. Yeah. Roger wrote that after purchasing his first gun, he, quote, felt a new sense of power since he was now armed.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Roger then said, and these are all on posts on these websites, who's the alpha male now, bitches?
Oh my God.
God damn. I fucking hate that.
Yeah. He also described his plan to invade a sorority house, writing, I will slaughter every single spoiled, stuck-up blonde slut I see inside there.
Jesus.
He continues, all those girls I've desired so much, they have all rejected me and looked down on me as an inferior man.
Boo-hoo.
So for me, this is something of a twist, but I really shouldn't be surprised. Some incel communities, where it's common to post and glorify violence by self-identified incels, Roger is frequently referred to now as their saint.
Oh, God.
And they have shared memes in which his face has been superimposed onto paintings of Christian icons.
Oh my God, that's just sick.
That is sick.
It's common to see references to, quote, going ER, unquote, in incel forums. ER is Eliot Rodgers' initials and refers to incels committing acts of violence, mass violence. Yeah.
I can't. No.
I don't even know
that's just way too much.
This shithead became like the king of shitheads. Like, what the fuck?
How do you glorify someone like that?
I don't know how deep in despair you have to be to glorify somebody like this.
Like, oh my God.
He has been referenced by perpetrators or suspected perpetrators of several other mass killings as their inspiration. One sad example is Alec Minassian, who killed 10 and injured 16 in Toronto, Canada, and he posted on Facebook before the murders, quote, "The incel rebellion has already begun. We will overthrow all the Chads and Stacys. All hail the supreme gentleman, Eliot Rodgers," unquote.
That makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah,
That's just awful.
That's terrifying.
fucking crazy. Several news networks limited the use of the word retribution when talking about his video for fear of triggering copycat crimes.
Oh, I hate to even think about that. That's fucking awful.
There's a UK media group called The New Statement that posited that the manifesto could potentially influence a, quote, "new generation of involuntary celibates," unquote.
What?
Yeah, this is fucked up. Like, this is
It's
like
so deeply fucked.
this is like Black Mirror kind of shit.
It is. It's so horrifying.
Genius.com co-founder Mabad Maghabdan resigned after receiving negative media attention because he stated that Rodgers' manifesto was beautifully written.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How can you look at any of that and say it's beautifully? Why? No.
Even if you're like a fucking scholar and you're actually looking at like the poetry of it, you still wouldn't fucking do that.
That's
No,
what we call an
absolutely
inside
not.
thought. We keep that one inside.
CNN described his statement as tasteless and creepy, while Genius.com CEO Tom Lehman said that the comments went beyond that into gleeful insensitivity and misogyny. And that, boys and girls, incel or otherwise, is the crazy case of Eliot Rodgers and the deadly sin of envy.
Oh, wow. That was.
Yeah, that one's fucked up.
That's just terrifying. And it's just terrifying that these communities exist and that so many people are sucked into them.
I just, it makes me think of cults in a lot of ways because
It's very culty.
how low have you sunk that you're going to look up to a fuckhead like that? It just
so fucking low. It's unimaginable.
There's a part of me that gets the idea that there's something you want out there and you can never get it. But again, lower your standards a little. Stop thinking like you're all so entitled. Just fucking
right. I mean, what it really is they've been radicalized, and it's, it goes beyond lowering standards. It's to the point where they have radicalized themselves into treating women as, just a complete inferior species. I mean, it's
right.
It's
Possessions.
the same, yeah, it's the same as racism. Well, it's not the same as racism, but
it's close because he's talking about rounding them up and putting them in concentration camps and starving them to death.
Right.
All because they didn't consent to dating you? Really?
It's like, did you ever even talk to them? Did you try to be nice? It's like, these are never nice people.
Well, and that's just it. Like, I remember, because you guys clearly didn't recognize this case, but I remember when it happened. And the father of one of the girls that was killed was being interviewed. And he said, "My daughter was a nice person. She would have dated you if you had asked. But I'll tell you, I'm not sure she would have because this fucking guy is dangerous." And she probably saw that. If he did ask her out, think about it. If a guy creeps you out that bad, you're not going to say yes.
The fuck, yeah, because I'm going to think I'm going to get murdered on that date.
Exactly. And so it all goes back to you're acting like a fuckhead and nobody wants to be around you.
Literally.
And that just keeps amplifying and amplifying and amplifying. So,
but everybody else is the problem, and not him.
I mean, that's the American way, right?
Literally.
So yeah. So thank you everybody for joining us for the first night of 7, counting down the 7 deadly sins as we go towards Halloween.
I can only imagine what comes next.
Well, I believe you're up next with one of your cases.
Okay.
So, yeah, don't.
So you better imagine what comes next.
You better know what we're talking about because your case is tomorrow.
All right. Well, let's do it up.
All right. So we'll see you guys again tomorrow. I am Janice Dead.
I'm Jameson Dead.
And I'm Joyous Dead.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.